We understand everyone on the Clippers have to step up now. The fact that Kawhi and PG is out is a very hurtful blow to the Clippers and the organization. But specifically, there's one player I feel like I want to see ascend and seize the opportunity more than others on the team. Let's talk about it. As I said in the previous video, everybody has to collectively step up for the Clippers. Everybody has to step up a lot. Marcus Morris might be the guy that they go to give the green light to just because he's the next man up in regards to a part of being one of the core players on the team, being there the last couple seasons and one of the ones they rely on a lot. I said the Clippers always seem to go how Marcus Morris goes, weirdly. And because it seems like every time when they're healthy or when most all their pieces are there, it seems like every time he scores 20 plus points, they've always won. So I always weirdly said the team goes out, he goes. So now we get to see more of him and what he can do. And hopefully he's more consistent than ever. But with that being said, as I said before, there's other players on the team that has to step up as well and has to fill a role that they might not even be comfortable with. And that's just the way it's going to have to be. And it's okay if you're not comfortable, because Ty Lue is still going to put you in opportunity, still going to give you the opportunity, still going to put you in a position and in a situation where you have to prove yourself. That's just what type of coach he is. He wants to see what you're made of, and he doesn't mind giving other players on the bench an opportunity to prove themselves by, exerting them into a game and seeing what they got. I mean, look what he did with Terrence Mann. Look what he did with Luke Kennard. He basically just threw them out there to the wolves and let them figure out their own direction and what they can do to help contribute to this team and help this team win. And with that being said, it worked out to the best because both of those players now, even at the time, I thought when they first came out, both of them played fearlessly. Both of them play with an edge. Both of them play like they belong, and both of them play like, they're a part of this operation, and the operation can't, go nowhere without them. And that's the mentality that they have. And that's the mentality that Ty Lue wants his younger players to have, because he might call upon them at any point in time to go in there and do certain things. I mean, one example is last year when the Clippers were playing the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta was up by 25. Ty Lue takes out all the starters, Kawhi, PG, all of them, and throw in all bench players on the floor. And the bench players brought the team back from down 25, and it was a tie game. And when the game got tied, that's when Ty Lue, or when the game got, close, that's when Ty Lue put the starters back in, and Kawhi finished the game off. It's just the way it is in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, this is the point. Like Ty Lue is definitely one of the type of coaches that take risk, but in his mind, he looks at it as a calculated risk. He looks at it like, I'm taking a risk, but I'm taking a risk on players that I trust, that I believe that can go out there and give us the best opportunity to win if I call their number. And usually he's been right, so far, with this team. Like I said, with Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard, he's put them in some situations where they had to really step up or, be a bust, and they came through, big situations. I mean, like this season, for one, that Lakers game that they played, Luke Kennard hit the biggest shots in that game. Now, Marcus Morris did hit a big shot too at the end. It was off the glass. He didn't call that, I don't believe, but I mean, 3 points is 3 points. But Luke Kennard was the biggest difference in that game because he hit the shots when it was needed. I mean, when the pressure was there, when the game was close to put the game out of reach, basically. You see what I'm saying? So in big moments, Ty Lue expects his players to go out there and execute no matter who you are and what your name is on the back of the jersey. He expects you to go out there and execute. And like I said, that's one of those moments where Luke Kennard showed no fear, went out there, knocked down some big threes, and basically helped the Clippers win that game against the Lakers. And you've seen Terrence Mann have moments as well, especially the one he had last year against Utah, which was a really big moment, which is in the playoffs when it counts the most. At 39 points he had sent Utah home. Otherwise, maybe the Clippers don't even make it out of that series unless Terrence Mann scores that 39 points, because they were down by 24, 25 points in that game until Terrence Mann erupted. Then they won the series and moved on to the next against the Phoenix Suns. So this is my point. The players that's on the bench right now, They definitely going to have to step up, but Ty Lue definitely trusts his players. And that's a good thing when you have a coach believing you and trusting you, because it'll allow you to go out there with confidence and flourish. But the point I'm trying to make now, for the most part, to me, we know everybody has to step up, as I said. But to me, the one player I really want to see ascend in this situation is Brandon Boston Jr. I think this is the opportunity for him to really show what he can do. Now there never was, as far as his situation, there never was a Kawhi in his way, because he never played with Kawhi Leonard yet. But now that Paul George is out, there's no Paul George in his way. I mean, honestly, there's no superstar on the floor. You know what I'm saying? So his opportunity, his opportunity is here. And I feel like he's the player I want to see ascend in this situation. I want to see him, kind of get used to the offense and flourish a little bit more and seize the opportunity, because this is the time for him to do it. I mean, the sea has opened up and parted just for Brandon Boston to have this opportunity, because I know Ty Lue is going to play him some decent minutes, heavy minutes, more likely, because of his talent and what he can do. And he's going to have to, have some, 18, 20 point games, in this stretch, or maybe a little bit more, never know, because he has the capability of scoring like 23 plus points a game from what I see in his gameplay. He can definitely score. Like if he reaches his peak, like I think he can, I say in a couple years from now, I can see him being a 21, 22 point scorer like every night if he reaches his peak, because he definitely has that type of talent. And I'm not saying he's going to score that now, but he has to at least score, I'd say 17 or better per game if he's given a lot of minutes on a consistent basis. And I think he can do that. I think he definitely has the capabilities and the skill set to do it. And I would like to see that going forward. And for this month and change, or however long it's going to be before Paul George and or Kawhi comes back, the green light is also there for him as well. Maybe not there for him to take the most shots on the team, but it's there for him to get the opportunity and take some shots and get the opportunity to get some scoring under his belt, so he can get used to the offense and get used to how he should play and how he should help the team out on defense as well. So he's definitely the player I really want to see get some quality minutes and see what he does with his minutes, because opportunities like these don't come by too often. More likely it's probably not going to be a situation ever again where Kawhi and PG are going to be hurt predominantly at the same time, and everybody on the bench that doesn't play gets an opportunity to play in a real game instead of playing in practice only and being a cheerleader on the sideline. Now everybody gets an opportunity. But specifically for Brandon Boston, because a lot of people see so much talent in this kid, just as I do, I want to see him seize his opportunity the most, because he's shown that he can be one of those bright, futuristic type players for the Clippers going forward, and maybe even possibly a star player in the NBA going forward, with his career. So, they actually might have somebody in him who can be that, substantial third scorer or fourth scorer on the team, or maybe second scorer or something like that in the future, or maybe even a sixth man coming off the bench, as in right now, to help them really, really ascend to another level. I know Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard is looked at in one of those, six-man type roles, but adding a player like him to that role wouldn't hurt either, because if you can, tone him up a little bit, because basically what I see with Brandon Boston, he has a lot of good raw skills, and it just needs to be fine-tuned. That's all he needs. I mean, he has a lot of raw skills, and I believe those skills of his can take him to, another level, but he just needs to have the opportunity to do so. And here's the opportunity, more so than ever. I mean, honestly, no Kawhi, no PG. You want to talk about a green light? I mean, wow, you have an opportunity to really show what you can do now, because honestly, there's nobody standing in your way to, hinder you from doing that. So I want to see Ty Lue give him the minutes, but I also want to see Brandon Boston capitalize on those minutes. I've spoke about this kid on several videos, as you've heard me do, and I will continue to speak about him, because I continue to believe that he's one of those, special young players that a lot of teams would like to have. And I definitely thought he was a steal of the draft, if you ask me. So I definitely want to see him live up to that. And the only way he's going to live up to that is to go out there and prove it, and to go out there and prove it, you got to go out there and make good things happen. And I believe he can do that. I believe he can give the Clippers 16, 17, 17 plus points per game going forward until Kawhi and PG comes back. I believe he can do that. And I'm not saying that he will. I'm not going to put that pressure on myself, but I do think that he he can do that. He can probably average a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? But I would like to see him grow in regards to his shot selection and, you know, how he plays, you know, just the little things, the intangibles. I want to see how he does over time and what the opportunity he's going to have given. Hopefully if Ty Lue gives him that, which I believe he will. And I want to see how he gels, you know, more and more. I definitely want to see more of him anyway coming into this season from what I saw in the summer league. And this is the opportunity for him to have. So I'm definitely going to, you know, be anticipating and watching what he does and seeing how he takes his opportunity to the next level and see if he really is the steal of the draft and see if he proves me right that he's a steal of the draft, because I still believe that he is, but I just want to see it, you know, on display, and I want to see how he does against better competition and just see exactly how his game could fit with the Clippers in the long run, in the long term. I believe it does fit as far as, like, you know, him being a sixth man off the bench, you know, or something like that, or that type of player. But if he ever was inserted in the starting lineup, I want to see exactly how he plays now, these next several games or next month or so until, you know, PG or whoever, you know, Kawhi and them, whoever comes back. I want to see how he plays with none of them around and see exactly how he can, you know, implement his game and implement his ways and his skills on the Clippers, so we could see exactly what he would look like, you know, in big situations, because that's exactly what you want to see. And that's exactly what Ty Lue wants to see, which is the reason why Ty Lue gives all his players, you know, the opportunity to go out there and play and show what they can do, no matter whether Kawhi or PG is there or not. That's just the type of coach Ty Lue is. So I'm pretty sure Ty Lue is looking at the same thing that I just spoke on, as far as wanting to see how this kid can play in big situations and can he really trust him in big situations going forward, because he might have a spot on this roster when the rotations get cut down short in the playoffs. He might actually have a spot in regards to being one of the ones that get playing time in the playoffs instead of being one of the ones that sit on the bench and watch the other players out there play. So I want to see exactly what he does. I hope he flourishes. I hope he balls out, because honestly, I'm rooting for him. I've been rooting for this kid, so I definitely want to see what he can do. And he's shown flashes. You know, he had that one big game about a couple weeks ago, and then he had another decent game where he had, I think, close to 20-something points. So, I mean, I've seen flashes. I just want to see how he does it on a consistent level with given the opportunity that's standing right there in front of him. But hey, that's my take on the situation. You leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Is there another player that you want to see that get an opportunity, that sees an opportunity more so than Brandon Boston, or, you know, whatever? Leave any comments. We'll talk about it as we always do. And hey, Cali out.